special live edition. I just wanted to hop in here and say what is going on to the Raider Nation. We're going to be talking about the offense today because we've been talking a lot about the draft. We've been talking a lot about the defense, particularly with Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, all these guys getting healthy and getting back into the flow. So today we're going to be talking about offense and what I think is going to be a lot different this year. Obviously, we have a new quarterback, we have a new star running back, we have some additions when it comes to the rookie class. And so we're going to kind of break all of that down today. I want all of you guys jump in the comments and just kind of lead the conversation. This is a conversation back and forth between me and the Raider Nation. I see Matthew Jameson in here. What is going on? Nick in here. What is up, man? Good to see you guys as we get rolling today. What up, man? Julio says, what up, brother? Big Raider Nation. Let's go Raiders. 100%. Got 6 people in here. I want to see 6 likes on the live stream. Let's smash that like button so that this will push out to more people. Now, I want let's get started in the comment section. I want to see which player right now on the offense are you guys the most excited about to see this upcoming year? Now, prior to the draft, for me, it was obviously Ashton Jeanty. I was pushing Ashton Jeanty like crazy. He's the best running back to come out of college, pretty much in my opinion, since Barry Sanders. And I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. So that's pretty crazy that we ended up getting him. I'm excited about that. And I'm also excited to see what Geno Smith is going to bring to the Raiders, right? Geno Smith is one of those guys who was written off by a couple of teams, landed in Seattle, finally gets his shot to rejuvenate his career, and he took that shot all the way, like as far as he possibly could with the team that he had. Now, this morning in our Facebook group, Silver and Black Nation, which you guys should go and check out, link should be in the description. If not, just check it out on Facebook, Silver and Black Nation, where we are the official podcast over there. Almost 100,000 strong, awesome group, lots of conversation. I did see that a lot of people in the group were commenting on Geno Smith that, he had DK Metcalf, he had Tyler Lockett, and we don't have those caliber of players. And I scratched my head because I'm like, what are you even talking about? How are you going to sit there and say that the Raiders don't have the caliber of a DK Metcalf and a Tyler Lockett? First of all, Tyler Lockett's career is come to an end, right? He's at the end, the tailwind of his career. And we have guys who are just at the beginnings of their career. We have Jakobi Meyers, who is just peaking right now. So, and I would argue Jakobi Meyers is better than Tyler Lockett. And so then you have Brock Bowers, the best tight end in the NFL. So I don't understand where people are sitting there saying that, Geno Smith had better weapons. We also just, again, Ashton Jeanty, he hasn't played a snap in the NFL yet. But I already feel like Ashton Jeanty is going to be a top 5 running back in the NFL his rookie season. I think he'll even be in the running for a Rookie of the Year award. Now, obviously, there's a lot that's going to go into that, and we'll have to wait and see how that's going to pan out. But we do know about Brock Bowers. We do know about Jakobi Meyers. And so we also know about Trey Tucker and what he brings to the table. Wasn't utilized properly last year, in my opinion. I think this year he'll get utilized a lot more. Geno Smith likes to throw the ball deep, and having a guy like Trey Tucker who can take the top off, and then you go get Thornton Jr., another guy who can take the top off, and he's 6'4", that's going to play well. We'll see if Thornton actually gets in this year, though, because he's a very raw wide receiver, and he's going to need some time to really hone his technique. Tony Blassetti in here says, what up, Raider? D, just taking a quick break, seeing that you're live. Hope all is great. Man, everything is awesome. I'm excited about the season right now. I cannot wait to finally get some football. I know we got a long summer So right now I'm enjoying the summer, but I cannot wait for football, man, because I'm more excited about this team than I have been in a long time. And particularly because we have a Hall of Fame coach in Pete Carroll who is rapidly building the culture. I talked to some players on the team, some of which I have had on the podcast. Like we just did an interview with running back Chris Collier a couple weeks ago. I talked to him on a regular basis. And all the information that I'm getting from the guys that I talk to on the team is that this year the Raiders are in a much better situation, right? And I'm talking like to guys are who have been there, right? They were there last year, or they've been there for a couple of years, and they went through the Josh McDaniels fiasco, and then they went through Antonio Pierce letdown, and now they're with Pete Carroll. And, the guys that I talked to, they've said the same thing, that everything feels different. With Josh McDaniels, everybody was walking on eggshells, and they didn't want to play for that dude. When it was Antonio Pierce, everybody loved him, but there was no coordination. There was no discipline. There was no direction with Antonio Pierce. And I think that this is because Antonio Pierce, he took the head coaching job way too soon. He really should have went, and they should have maybe moved him up to a defensive assistant coordinator or something like that, and then bring in a Pete Carroll. Because Pete Carroll was ready, or he was available last year, and the Raiders didn't do it. But I think this is telling why he brought in so many former head coaches to try and help him figure out how to make this organization work, and it just didn't work. There were too many cooks in the kitchen. And so the guys that I talk to now, they're all saying the same thing, that the players that we got, the free agents that we got, the rookies that we got, everybody is on point with Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, Patrick Graham, and all the assistant coaches. And we're starting to see that. Like I talked about in my video yesterday, we have a young quarterback in Cam Miller who's already turning heads with his teammates and coaches in the rookie minicamp right now. And so I think, long term, over the next 3 years to 4 years, I think the Raiders are going to be in contention. I think that the Raiders are going to be a much more organized, disciplined, ready, and prepared team week in and week out for the NFL schedule. Just simply because you have a Hall of Fame coach who knows how to do that. He's been there. He's done that. He's built winning cultures everywhere he's gone. And I think that that's just simply going to be the case now. So on offense is something that we've been struggling with for a couple of years. I think that that's going to get fixed. I think Geno Smith is going to have a field day with a guy the likes of a Brock Bowers, a guy who never drops the ball like Jacoby Myers. You go and draft another guy like a Jacoby Myers in a Jack Bech. And then, Dante Thornton Jr., he's the DK Metcalf kind of guy, runs a 4.3 40, 6'4". He's not as strong, obviously, as DK Metcalf, but he can add strength to that frame. He can add some bulk to that frame without losing too much space or too much speed. Then I think Dante Thornton Jr. could be something special. But again, he's pretty raw. And then you add in the mix the best running back in the entire draft, again, for several decades. And, you have a recipe for success. Now, a lot of that's going to depend on the offensive line and how we get going. Drop your comments down below. Smash that like button. We got 32 people in the house right now. If you love the Raiders, hit that like button right now if you haven't done so already. I'm going to jump into some of these comments right now. Matthew Jameson agrees with me. Jack Bech and Dante X will help Geno too. I agree with that. Tony says, I believe the Raiders will probably make the playoff spot this season and put my money on it. I'm with you on that. I do feel the same way. I think that the Raiders are in a good position right now to make a run. Look, even last year, okay, we only won 4 games, but we could have won easily 9 games, right? There was 5 games that we could have won last year. It just didn't fall our way. So you're not nearly as bad as, say, the Cleveland Browns or the Tennessee Titans. You're nowhere near as bad as those teams, and you don't have as many needs as those teams have. And so I think that it just makes sense that the Raiders have a much better overall cast of characters. And you add into the fact that we have Pete Carroll and we have Chip Kelly. And I'm going to talk about Chip Kelly here in a second and what I'm expecting from him and really hopeful for. But I think the Raiders are just in a much better situation than all of the other bottom teams. Nick says the schedule is out this week. Oh, yeah, on Wednesday. So I think today or tomorrow they're supposed to release the international games, and then Wednesday we should get the full calendar and schedule. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Raiders are going to do. Shirley 1955 says you need someone that can run down a QB. We have that. Absolutely. We have Max Crosby. We have Malcolm Kuntz. And I was so excited about Malcolm Kuntz coming back to the Raiders, getting him re-signed. I know it's only a 1-year deal, but when you watch Malcolm Kuntz play, when he finally got his opportunity because of the Chandler Jones psychotic break, Malcolm Kuntz had just been sitting on the sideline. We had a gem and never even knew it because the guy never got a chance. But when he got his chance, he took a hold of the reins, man. And when you watch him play, his motor and his bend is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this dude basically runs horizontal. It's so crazy how much bend he has, and he's able to just whip around defensive or offensive linemen. It's a lot of fun to watch. So the other thing is like everybody focuses on Max Crosby because he is that good. And that leaves a lot of one-on-ones with Malcolm Kuntz. And I think because he didn't get to play last year, a lot of people will now forget that Malcolm Kuntz is really dang good. And so if he's 100%, which according to the information that I have, Malcolm Kuntz is back to being 100%, he's ready to go, then... Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, technical difficulties. Gabriel says, how do we sign Malcolm Kuntz? We need him again. Well, we did. We signed him to a 1-year deal. Now, I think what's going to happen is, and this is John Spytek's own words, you do not let good defensive ends go. You just simply do not let them walk. And if Malcolm Kuntz by week 4 or 5 is looking like the Malcolm Kuntz of a year and a half ago, I think he gets re-signed to a big deal. And I think that this is why the Raiders aren't spending the money. The Raiders have over $30 million left in cap. They haven't gone out and spent it. And that's because you have Jakobi Meyers who needs to be re-signed, and you have Malcolm Kuntz on a 1-year deal. Both of those guys could eat up a large majority of that $33-ish million. And so I think it's very smart. A lot of people have been saying, oh, John Spytek, he's like Coupon Tom. He's not going out and getting talent. We have the talent. We need to re-sign them. Jakobi Meyers needs a long-term deal. Malcolm Kuntz, if he plays well and his knee looks like it's fine, and he's, by week 4 or 5, he's already got 3 or 4 sacks, you've got to re-sign him. And that's going to cost a lot of money. So I think it's very smart that the Raiders are doing things the way that they're doing. Bernardo says, Raider D, Carr retired. Yes, he did. He did retire yesterday, or day before yesterday, I think. And like I made the video yesterday. Sorry, I didn't get much sleep last night. I made a video yesterday talking about Derek Carr, that he should come back and retire on a ceremonial one-day contract. He should retire as a Raider. He has no fan base in New Orleans. Nobody cared about him there. The dude gave his heart and soul to the Raiders. The way that McDaniels and company did him was terrible. He should absolutely come back and retire as a Raider. Matt says there has to be an upturn in production this year. The nation needs a boost from years of unsettled challenges. Yeah, I agree with that, Matthew. 100%. Matt says Aaron Rodgers retired too. Yeah, I mean, he should have done it sooner anyway. When he blew out his Achilles, he should have just retired. There's no way he's coming back. And then last year, he was subpar. Brandon says hello from Little Rock, Arkansas. Man, that's awesome. Representing Silver Black all the way down to Little Rock. Isn't that where Bill Clinton's from? Little Rock? Wasn't he like the mayor or something like that down there, and then he became president? I don't know. But yeah, so I think the offense, guys, the offense this year is going to be something incredible to watch. I think that, the offensive line is going to dictate a lot. If you've seen the video of JPJ, the first time he meets Ashton Jeanty, goes up, gives him a big old bear hug and says, hey, I'm your center, right? So I think that video kind of put it to bed, because the Raiders on the Raiders.com still have JPJ listed as a guard. And I've been saying that if you start him as a guard, that's a terrible, terrible waste of talent. He's okay at guard. He can do it. He wasn't great in the snaps that he played at guard last year. He was a rookie, so I'm sure he would still get better. But as a center, he was a top 5 center. The snaps he played as center, he's a top 5 center. He needs to be the center. There should be no doubt. You cut Andre James, cut ties with him. You wouldn't do that if you didn't believe that JPJ is his replacement. So it all starts with JPJ. Kolton Miller, back in form. He should be good to go. But there's some contract negotiation issues. We'll see if he holds out from camp. But he should be good to go. And then DJ Glaze, I think, is going to be the starting right tackle this year. We picked up a couple of guys in the draft at the guard position who can also play tackle. And so we'll see, who wins out that position. But in my opinion, I think it's going to be DJ Glaze. He's going into year 2. He's going to have more progression, more familiarity with the NFL and the speed of the game. Just makes more sense. And so really, I think it's going to just come down to the right guard and the left guard. Who's going to be the starter? Everything is up in the air right now. We don't know. And if they can get the offensive line at least a top 15 offensive line, at least get there. If we can at least be ranked 14th in out of 32 teams on the offensive line, the Raiders are going to have a really good offense. Again, there's just too many weapons. Jacoby Myers catches everything that comes his way. The rookie Jack Bech, that's what he's known for. He catches everything that comes his way. And Brock Bowers, obviously the best tight end in the NFL. Ashton Jeanty. And then don't forget, man, listen, last year, the run game was abysmal. But we do have some talent behind Ashton Jeanty. Raheem Mostert, a veteran. Yes, he's towards the end of his career, but the dude is still a baller. And then, we have guys like Chris Collier, who hasn't gotten a shot. And Sincere McCormick, who finally got a shot, showed out, and then got hurt. So we do have some depth at the running back situation. It's not just all going to be Ashton Jeanty. You cannot run Ashton Jeanty into the ground in the NFL. The way that they ran him last year at Boise State was because he was chasing that record of Barry Sanders. And the team knew that he's the best player on the team, hand him the rock. You cannot do that in the NFL. And so it's going to be still, Ashton Jeanty will be the premier back, but we still have other guys. And these other guys, like, for example, the kid that I interviewed, Chris Collier, if you go back and you watch his college tape, this dude is big, he's fast, and he's hard to bring down. He has his own highlight reels that are similar to an Ashton Jeanty, but he's just bigger. But he hasn't gotten a shot yet. He's kind of like in that Sincere McCormick phase where, he's going to have to sit there and wait a year or two or maybe even 3 before he'll finally get a shot to really show out what he can do, just because we have so much depth there at the running back right now. Raider Ryan checking in. What is going on, my man? Hope you're having a great day. I have surgery today to remove a polyp in my throat affecting my voice. Prayers, it's not cancerous. Brother, I am with you 100%. I have my surgery, I think on the 23rd. I have a very bad condition in my throat called Barrett's esophagus, and I'm at stage 4, which is critical, unfortunately. And it's a crazy thing. I ignored extreme heartburn for 3 or 4 years. I just took the chewable tablets, the chalk tablets to try and calm it down. That didn't work. And I just ignored it. And the problem is that when you do that, the acid burns and scars the cell tissue in your throat, in your esophagus. And over time, to kind of protect itself, the cells start to mutate. And they mutate into the cells of your stomach so that they're more hardy, more resistant. The problem is when that happens and you get to stage 4 where I'm at, you are at extremely high risk for throat cancer, esophageal cancer. And so I have to go and have a laser surgery to have those cells removed. And then there's a lump in there as well that they don't know what it is. It could be cancer, not cancer. God willing, it's not. So me and Raider Ryan, we're in the same boat, man. Prayers out to you that you are good to go. Keep me posted on that, brother. Yeah, guys. Brandon says heartburn sucks. Do not ignore it like I did. Learn from me. If you have daily heartburn, if you go to bed and you have heartburn, go to your doctor. Go to your doctor, and you need to get endoscopy, where they're going to put you to sleep and they're going to go into your throat. They're going to take some samples of your tissue. Go get that done. Because if you end up with Barrett's esophagus like I do, if it's stage 1 or 2, it's very treatable. You don't have to have surgery, and you're good. If you let it go to stage 4, like I did, like a dummy, it could be really bad. So do not ignore heartburn. It is actually life-threatening. Who knew? Because I didn't. Brandon Ryan says, good luck on your surgery, my brother. Keep up the great work on your channel. The nation appreciates you, all that you do. I appreciate you guys, man, for being here. It's a joy for me to be here. It's a joy for me to talk to the nation, especially now that I'm out on the Raider Ranch a lot. I don't get to interact with people in the city. Funny enough, though, where I live, I'm 45 minutes from town. But when I do go to town, which is on a weekly basis, it's a small town, but there's a lot of Raiders hats, man. So I'm always just going up in the store and be like, yeah, Raiders! And all these small town folk be looking at me crazy. And the one guy wearing the Raiders hat, the other guy, he be like, yeah. So, it's all love, man. Raider Nation. Matthew says, I get it all the time. Bad diet and too much booze. Bro, don't ignore it. If I were you right now, I would schedule an appointment with a gastroenterologist and go and get an endoscopy and make sure that you don't have Barrett's esophagus. Because if you're getting it all the time, you probably are at one of the stages of Barrett's esophagus. And again, it can literally kill you. Matthew says, why did I move out of the city? We love this property, man. We picked up this property a few years ago. We wanted to Airbnb it, and we did that for a little while. We built a little tiny cabin, and it was great. But I was like 4 hours away from my property, and I just finally decided, like, for me, I had a massive health scare last year on June 1st where I nearly died. Had a heart attack, which was crazy because I don't have any issues with my heart. So I have no clogged arteries. My cholesterol's great. Why did I have a heart attack? Well, let's just say we had a major health scare around the world in 2020, and a lot of people went and got some injections for that. And now it's come out that those injections, particularly from one company, has caused people to have inflamed heart tissue. And apparently that's what happened to me. So that kind of led me down the rabbit hole. When I died, I was hospitalized for 3 days. I was basically in a coma, had severe memory loss, speech impediment, which I've had to like overcome. And I'm still struggling with it. I still struggle with memory loss to this day from it. But then, all this testing. I was actually fortunate that had happened, because that led me to getting my scan, my endoscopy, where they discovered that I have Barrett's esophagus disease. And I have to now get surgery on that to prevent it from becoming cancer. And so with all of that, the stress that I had of running my construction business and everything, we have this gorgeous, beautiful property. We just decided, you know what, let's come out here. I'm not out here full time, so sometimes you'll see like I'm back in the city. But we do spend at least, I would say, a couple of weeks a month out here, if not more, for right now. But I got to build my house and stuff like that. So a lot going on with me. Matter of fact, guys, I do want to, let me show you this. I'm going to take you inside. So this is the Raider studio. It's still under construction. I was filming in the truck because my wife was sleeping in this morning, but now she's up. So inside the studio, we did finish most of the bathroom. So I want to show you this because I got something really cool to show you. So this is the bathroom, and these walls right here is from a company called Vasari, and this is Venetian plaster. This is an ancient technique that they've been doing in Rome and the Middle East and everywhere for thousands of years. It's antimicrobial, it's anti-mold, it's natural, no VOCs, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So this is the shower. Got the niche in there, the tile, everything that you need. Obviously you can see the rest of the studio is not done. I'm a little bit slow on it, but yeah. And then we got this toilet here is a compostable toilet. So this is from Ogo, and from them, like, it's really cool because we don't have septic out here, so we're all compost. It composts all of your solid waste, and then I have a urine diverter, which then takes it straight into my sewer line. It's not a sewer line, but it's a gray water line system. And so I have that all connected, so I don't have to even empty the urine or anything like that. It goes to my leach field for all of my gray water. So it's a really cool system that we have. I got a lot more work to do, but it's fun. It's cool. That's why I moved out here and just enjoying life, man, because when you have a near-death experience like that, you kind of just realize it's not worth all the stress, man. Like the daily grind all the time, it's not worth it. Life is too short, right? Like we just lost my father-in-law not too long ago, and it was completely unexpected. This man was a pinnacle of fitness. Didn't drink, didn't smoke, would do like 100 push-ups every single day, and he was like, I don't know, 70 years old, and he just had like a pain in his eyes, and the kids took him to the hospital, and they did a scan, and it turned out he had a massive brain tumor out of nowhere, and within a couple of months he was gone. So that's it, man. Enjoy life. If you can, get out into nature, into the country, the woods, the forest. I love going up camping and stuff like that. And most importantly, don't stress over the Raiders. We're going to be good or we're not. But have fun with it no matter what. Right? We every year we kind of go through this where we get excited about the Raiders. We get excited about the draft. We get excited about the free agents. And we always, like the second something goes wrong, we lose a game, we get super stressed out about it. Don't do that. At the end of the day, football should be a stress reliever. It should be fun. And I'm just as guilty as this as anybody. Like, ask my wife, she'd tell you. I get so stressed out when the Raiders lose. But after last year's near-death experience, I don't get stressed out as much anymore. Like, if the Raiders suck, I still watch the games and enjoy as much of it as I can. And so that's just kind of the thing that all of us should do, right? Just enjoy. Now, with that being said, I don't think the Raiders are going to suck this year. I think that the Raiders are going to be good. And I think that at the end of the day, we have all of the talent that we need right now to make a playoff run. I could be wrong. Could go horribly wrong. I think we had the talent last year. Antonio Pierce just made a horrible decision to start Minshew over Aiden O'Connell. Now, I don't know that Aiden O'Connell would have done much better, but I do know that you couldn't have gotten worse than Gardner Minshew. Great guy, great backup quarterback, can win you some games, can score you some points, but he's not a starter in the NFL. And so I would have liked to see AOC start. But even if AOC started, the Raiders were decimated with injuries last year. And, you know, a lot of that is part and parcel to the lack of discipline and training that the Raiders had last year in that facility. It was not methodical and well done. And so that left some guys vulnerable to injury. Some of the injuries are, you know, there's nothing you could do about it. But I think lack of conditioning kind of hurt the Raiders last year. But I do think that with Geno Smith, veteran quarterback, he's been successful. He's seen success. He knows what success is. Obviously hasn't gotten to a Super Bowl or anything like that. But you surround him with as much talent as the Raiders have on offense, I think we're going to score a lot of points. Geno Smith gives you a dynamic that Aiden O'Connell doesn't and Gardner Minshew didn't have, and that is actionable mobility. What do I mean by actionable mobility? Gardner Minshew had some mobility. This dude's definitely not an elite athlete, but he had some mobility. But it wasn't actionable because as soon as he would roll out, first he would roll out to his right every single time, and so the defenses knew that, so they would just shift to his side and take him down. And then he would almost never complete a pass every time he rolled out. So he had mobility, but it wasn't actionable. Whereas with Geno Smith, first, Geno Smith likes to step up in the pocket, and if he's going to run for a first down, instead of him trying to roll out, which is, you know, you're taking a longer distance to get to where you want to go, He'll just shoot straight up the middle. As soon as he sees a gap, he'll shoot straight up the middle. He'll get out of sacks, but he's always keeping his eyes downfield. And when he is mobile, he's very accurate. And so he has that actionable mobility. And that's something that the Raiders haven't had for quite some time. So I do think that Geno Smith is an upgrade in that regard. I think that Geno Smith is going to have a fantastic year with the Raiders, maybe a fantastic 2 or 3 years, and make some runs. I would love to see that. I would love to see a Rich Gannon effect where Geno Smith comes from another team. He's got obviously some talent, but teams kind of don't look at him as being a Super Bowl MVP caliber kind of guy. And then he blossoms, and all of a sudden we're making deep runs every year for 2, 3, 4 years, and hopefully get us another trophy. That's kind of my shtick on that right now and how I'm feeling about it. There's just too much talent with this team for us not to do it. Again, it's all going to come down to the trenches. Can that offensive line do its job? I think, again, if we are top 14, the Raiders are going to absolutely have a killer season. It may not happen this year. It may not happen till next year. Ashton Genty's a rookie. The offensive line is still in flux. We don't know what that's going to look like just yet. Jack Bech, Dante Thornton Jr., rookies. So it may not happen this year. But I do think that at the very least, the Raiders should be in the hunt for, at the least, should be in the hunt for a wild card spot in the playoffs this year with the amount of talent that we have right now. So with that, guys, I'm going to sign off. This was just a quick little half-hour morning update. I know I haven't been doing the live streams because I've just been crazy busy. We're trying to build a new company, marketing company, and then obviously we have a lot to do out here on the Raider Ranch. So my day is completely packed with stuff to do, but I need to make a more concerted effort to start coming on these morning live streams. I think I'll keep doing it at about the same time. So if you guys check out back tomorrow, I should be live. And that way I can get all of that done before I start all of the building stuff out here on the Raider Ranch. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll also make another video here in a little bit and post that, so go and check that out. Love y'all. Raider Nation, let's go Raiders! Just win, baby.